Thank you very much, Alim. Thank you very much, Rolf. The clicker. Yes. Thank you. And can we switch to slides? Thank you. So first of all, thank you very much for having me here. I had a very nice welcome. I'm happy to share whatever I can with you about the Informatica proposal, and I'll keep it short so you can ask me questions and dive a little bit deeper, because the intent for the next few minutes will be to introduce at high level the platform and then to show you two things that are about to come into the platform in the very next release. Today with me, it will be also present Jay from Dubai, is connected remotely, so he will be deliver a speech about data security that is a part of the new acquisition that we had back in September, but I won't spoil his presentation, so he will let you know. So basically, this is the only slide that I have today. Different flavors, but this is the slide, so I will be focused on that. What is this? Basically, this is the Intelligent Data Management Cloud. That is the offering that we as Informatica, together with our partner, the IS, we are bringing to the market. So what we are doing as of today in this market space? Well, basically the same thing that we've been doing for the last 30 years. We are acting and operating in the data management space, and on this single platform, you will have mainly three things, and we'll speak about two of them today. One is everything about data integration, is a set of services that you will find in here. Then we will offer data governance and MDM. So MDM for today is out of scope. We'll focus a little bit on how do we cover data integration and data governance. But the main concept, if I have to let you with one thing, is that everything is offered on a single platform. Why is so relevant? Because throughout the last at least 2 years, probably more, in the conversation that I'm having with customer and prospect like you, I'm not hearing the question about I need an ETL, I need a connector to Oracle, to SQL, to Azure, to the cloud. But instead, what you are speaking about is about your new initiative that is around data quality, or how I do improve my data governance initiative. I need to build up a new data warehouse. All those questions are based on use cases that are not tied to a specific connector and a specific functionality. But usually, think about it. If you have to build up a new data warehouse or database where you want to collect all your information, then of course you will need a data integration tool, an ETL, the one that you used for many years probably. But this time around, you will need different connectors to the cloud world, to the on-prem world. And you'll probably want also to articulate some workflows that are about application integration, not data integration. It's not about moving a big bunch of data, but triggering things for automation and workflows. But you will also need to check the quality of your data. That now it's more and more important, because we are moving into a world where the data in the cloud or in other platform has value, and you need to check the quality of your data, but also the regulator is coming in. So all these use cases are built on different services. One more example. If you are about to revamp or start a data governance project, you may want to need a lineage. So you need to catalog your data, you need to know where they are and how they evolve. This is usually what is called data catalog. But you may also want to associate to that a business glossary, because the data catalog typically is under the control of IT. We need to know how data moves and evolves through time, but we need also to speak the language of the business, because business is asking for a report, for a data set, not for the SAP_3241 table, okay? So we need to be able to link those two things. Where I'm leading with this. Having a single platform means that you can mold your use case not based on what you bought, but on what you need. So let's pause for a second. Throughout the conversation, and while you speak with me or my colleagues from Informatica, please keep in mind that when you eventually buy or activate a subscription to this platform, you will not buy one of these services. You will not buy data integration or application integration or data quality or a specific connector. But instead, you will buy some credits. That can be a scary mechanism, because having a consumption-based platform, it triggers the question about how do I measure it, how do I estimate it, but we'll get into that. The main point here is that you will buy access to the entire platform. That looks like this. So no matter what is your use case, no matter what's your need, every user, technical or business user, will enter to a web browser application and will have access to all these services. Then, based on your need, you will use one or the other, and you'll draw down the consumption that you bought. All clear up to now? Yes? Good. So, again, if you have a new data warehouse to build, you may want to start triggering something around where it is. It's not here. You may want to check the quality of your data, then to design the lineage, and then in the end, move the data, or the other way around. But no matter how you approach your project, you will have a certain number of credits, and you will access the platform that, by the way, looks like this for data integration or data quality. Just an image to show you that we are also not a code-based platform, but is drag and drop. Back to the platform. So, as I mentioned, we will approach 2 out of the 3 main group of services that are in the platform. This first set of services is around data governance. So what's all about? Basically, data governance to us spans from being able to scan all your data sources and targets. So no matter if it's an on-prem or a cloud one, you may have an Oracle, a SQL, a DB2, a mainframe, but you may also have some application in the clouds. So you need to be able to reach out and extract the metadata and see the lineage. So that's column or table, how it evolves, and it's elaborated until it gets until the reports. So if a business user comes over to IT and asks, okay, I have this KPI, what is the definition of this KPI? IT is able to go back and see the data sources. But then you need, as I mentioned, to also have it connected to a business glossary, because the business user doesn't ask for that Oracle column, but asks for the count of clients, the churn that you have, and stuff like in business terms. So we are able to link the data glossary to the data lineage. And the end of this very short story that I'm depicting is that we are able to also present those data into a marketplace. Marketplace means that you can define what we call a data product and publish it on, like an e-commerce, an internal e-commerce, where you can browse, search for, no matter if it's a report or a data set for your data scientist or analyst, and look who's the business owner, the technical owner, and check out signing a data contract within your company, so you can get out the data and the data is delivered to you. Now, the interesting part, before moving, okay, just presented this one. So this is the data catalog, the marketplace, and the data quality, all within a single platform, okay? So we didn't stop there, and since last September, with the acquisition of Privitar, we also added another piece to the governance and privacy bit. So I would like to invite on the stage remotely my colleague Jay, who will introduce you this new functionality that will be coming over in the February, March release probably, that is about cloud data access management. So the possibility for you to deliver data in a secure way to your business people. I feel that I'm alone.
Hi, Nicola. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but we cannot see you.
At the moment. Okay, well, I'll keep the ladies there so they can get my picture on the screen, but I'll talk through the next section of this presentation. So pleased to be here. Thanks for having us. As Nicola mentioned, I'm representing the latest acquisition from Informatica, which is all around cloud data access management. So this is focused on controlling who is accessing sensitive data and how you can mask sensitive data through things like tokenization and generalization. So, what is cloud data access management? What it does, it brings together context, drives automation, and importantly, governs the use of data through policy-based enforcement. Data access management specifically delivers on this last piece. How do we characterize this? So we believe that access to data and data access management has become a critical element of any modern data architecture. What's required as a first-class artifact? Because of documentation. Data access management, when integrated into a modern data architecture, provides a holistic, executed through the use of reusable layered policy instrument that provides enforcement across a broad range of platforms, taking context as input. This means we can define a policy once and see it enforced consistently across an entire ecosystem. What we see today when customers are trying to enforce policies is that they have to do this many different times for all their different systems. You have to have separate policies for your SAP system, for your Oracle system, for people who are accessing the raw data via SQL statements, etc. What cloud data access management does is allow you to make a policy, and I'll explain what we mean by policy shortly, and then use it across the entire ecosystem. Every step of policy formalization and data utilization should be logged and monitored. You need to control who is accessing data, why they are accessing it, so that if you are approached by a regulator for a data breach, for example, you know specifically the lineage of your data and why people were granted access without having to go through a load of emails and understanding who was given access to what and for what reason. Nicola, if you could skip forward one, please. Okay, so here is an example of what we mean by policies. Policies are logical and they're not tied to physical columns. They're tied to data classes, such as a unique identifier or a date of birth. So what you can see here is that policies can be based on where a user is located, the purpose that they are accessing data for, who the person is or what the subject of the data is, be it PII or company sensitive information, what the role of the user is. Are they an analyst working in the business intelligence department? Are they in HR? Are they someone who is running a machine learning program, for example? And then also the data class. As I said, is it PII, date of birth, for example? These are elements that need to be masked properly. So what access control policies do are examine who the user's identity is and their role to determine which records can be shared. Remember, these records are based in different countries potentially, and different countries have different regulations. Additional policies to mask and tokenize columns and cells are based on if, then, and else rules. For certain purposes, the customer might require a unique ID or date of birth, and these are masked. Nicola, could you skip forward, please? So here on the screen, you can see an example of all of the privacy treatments that we can apply to data. The easiest thing to do when you are masking data is just to redact it, make it all XXXXX. But what this does is removes the value from the data. So if you're sharing it with a third party or with someone else in your organization, it's kind of useless, right? Because you don't really know what anything is. It's more useful to apply what we call privacy treatments. So here you can see an example of some of them. If we can't provide a specific ID number, what we can do is tokenize it, so it changes it to a different number. This is very useful when you are sharing production data with a development system, for example, because that development system might be expecting the data to come in a specific format, and for your testing, you can still have the data in the format it's expecting.
where we have a date here, we can generalize it. So where you can't share a specific date of birth for somebody, it would be still useful to have the year or the decade that they were born. So when you are doing demographic analysis and trying to understand your customer spending habits, for example, you know that people of a certain age are doing certain actions within your data set. Similarly, we can do encryption, hashing, and substitution to achieve a variety of different outcomes, and all of this depends on which use case you are trying to achieve. Nicola, again, if you can skip forward, please. So I'll show you an example of this in action. Here what we have is a data set which is a raw table. I've lost the screen. Is it still?
Just a second, we'll come back. No. Yes.
Just while Nicola's doing that, as he mentioned, this is part of the IDMC platform now. This technology was acquired by Informatica last year.
You see, usually it's the demo that doesn't work, not even the PowerPoint, but yes, we'll manage it.
Thanks. So what we're seeing here is first of all, we're seeing a raw data set. This is a table in its raw format. Now, let's consider that you have someone who works in HR, and they're in North America. So what our policy can do is mask first all the data that is not in North America. So you can only see now US and Canada records. So this targets the rows. Our policy can also target the columns. So the next part of this, excuse me, is that the ID number has been tokenized and the date of birth generalized, as I said. So we're not seeing, we can't identify the specific individual who this data belongs to. And then we may have a specific area, Canada in this example, where the zip code or the postal code cannot be seen in full, so we can't identify where the customer lives. But we can still, we change it so a partial zip code is still visible, so we can still see the area where they live. Again, all of this is useful for demographic analysis, and you can see from this diagram how we can target things on a row, column, or cell level. That's the basics of what data access management does. Of course, we can go into much more detail about this. If you have questions, Nicola is available at the event and he can address these. If you want to see a demo of this in more detail and discuss your specific use cases, we can arrange that following this session. Thanks for your time. I'll hand back over to Nicola.
Thank you, Jay. Just bear with me for a second. So let's say that now somebody in the room liked the idea of masking data and Privitar, and they are wondering now, so can I buy it? Can you tell us again, can I actually buy this functionality? How does it work?
Yeah, so this is going to be released in a few days within the IDMC platform. So all of this functionality will be available in IDMC. It's not something that we like to talk about much, but we can also offer an on-premise version of this technology where government regulations specify that this is the way that you need to do stuff. But I must say, with the cloud version, no actual customer data is shared within the cloud, metadata only. So in summary, yes, this is available. You can buy it. You can start looking at it now, and we can run demonstrations for you and look at your use cases as you need to.
But once again, two messages that I would like to restate again. As we are speaking about the platform and the cloud platform, that means that this functionality, that is a major one, is available to you and all the customers that buy the platform, because as soon as a new service is available to everybody. That's the first point. Second one, back to the consumption-based thing that I was mentioning in the beginning, you will actually not come to me and ask, I would like to buy this, but we will discuss about your use case and figure out how many credits you will need for make this function. But basically, this data management access usually works in conjunction with what? With data integration or data quality. Because you cannot basically mask your data if the quality of your data is not at a good level. So the idea is for you to have a credit entitlement you can draw on to mold your use case. So let's say that you already went through the data governance that I highlighted very quickly before, and now you are moving your data around. You are integrating your on-prem with the on-prem, on-prem to cloud, or wherever you want to move your data. You will be able to use all the services that are in the platform. So now I'm moving to the second section that is about data integration. So I mentioned that we have three kinds of services: data governance, and data access management is part of the data governance, and we also have data integration. In the modern world nowadays, data integration means many different things. So here, for example, you have three main buckets that are about data integration, application integration, and data quality. But if, for example, we focus only on data integration, what I see on the market, the request for is to have mainly three things. One is moving your data as you always did. So extract, load, transform and load, so the ETL. But as you are buying new platform and new system, you may also want to articulate a push down. So instead of having Informatica working on your data, so doing the compute engine function, we can be able to orchestrate what other compute engines may do: Snowflake, Databricks, Dremio, and so forth, so on. We can also enable the data, the push-down functionality. But there are use cases in which we used to call them big data, where you want to move data with Spark or other query engine, where Informatica can orchestrate an Hadoop cluster, so to turn it on, use it when it's needed, and turn it off. And the turn on and turn off is, by the way, managed by our artificial intelligence capability that we will see in a minute. So data integration, what I mean today, is a broader topic. It's broader than just moving the data, having the right connector, having the right capabilities. And speaking about connector, it's also true that as you are going by consumption, all these connectors and every connector that we have is available right out of the box to you. So you are not going, again, to buy the connector to Amazon Redshift or to Twitter or to MongoDB or whoever is here, but they are all available to you, and you just consume your credit based on the usage that you make out of this connector. I hope I made that clear. So I asked, and I was allowed to show you this slide that is the only technical architecture, and they told me, yes, you should do that. Why? I'll touch on it briefly, and why it's useful to me. So all the platform that I mentioned was here. You remember the picture at the beginning where you enter and you log in and you see all the things? It's here. This is the cloud part, okay? Over there, what you do is managing your user, design your workflows, design your connectivity. Basically, over there, you work with your metadata, okay? And that's the part is in cloud. So our business, generally speaking, is not to move and store your data. We are the logistic bit of your overall architecture. You have your own storage on-prem, on cloud, wherever it is. Our job is to integrate and move your data in a trusted way. So over there, generally speaking, I would say, we tend to manage only the metadata and what is needed to provide to the system the instruction they need to move your data. So let's say that now you want to move your data from Oracle to, I don't know, Azure or Microsoft or Google or AWS or even on-prem to on-prem, I don't care. The secure agent here is the one who will be moving the data. So the compute capacity is actually behind your firewall, okay? So you write your integration job over there. The secure agent or the group of secure agents will listen for that instruction and will start moving the data. So what's a secure agent? Secure agent basically is a software built up of microservices that we manage, we upgrade, but sits on a virtual machine that you will host. So what we will ask you when we set up the old platform basically is, will you be willing to create one or more virtual machine on-prem or on your cloud platform we will download and install the software together with you or the AS, and then in a data integration job, what will happen is that, let's say that I have an on-prem job that wants to move the data from here up to there. So the secure agent make an outbound call, so nobody will enter your firewall. He'll listen from the instruction, and then it will start managing your data, okay? Of course, the secure agent can scale up. You can manage it in a group of agents, so you can manage the active-active, the failover, and all those capabilities. But my main message for this slide is we decoupled the cloud from the compute engine. The compute engine is here, or can deploy it here. If your data moves from cloud to cloud, you don't want to move your data from there down to the earth and then back up. But you can keep your data here and deploy your integration job on this group of secure agents. Okay? If you have more questions about it, we can look it up. I can share documentation with you, but that's the main message that I want to share you. As I already mentioned, from time to time, you may want to have the secure agent doing the workload or simply orchestrating the computational capacity of your data platform or running through a set of Spark queries that are created and then destroyed where they are not needed. So, moving to the last bits of the presentation, we've seen the platform. We've seen that it has three main services: governance, integration, MDM. Thanks to Jay, we dive into the new service that will be up and running in the next months. And I think it's now mandatory for me to speak about artificial intelligence, because every meeting needs to have an artificial intelligence bit in it. And we are also working on it, but we are not selling it. So artificial intelligence, that is named Claire to us, is not a service that we sell, but is a design capability that we add to on all our services. Let's be a little bit more specific. So, why artificial intelligence is needed? I'm stealing this quote from Andy. I cannot pronounce his name, but he's a professor of the Stanford University, and is also the founder of Coursera, who defines the artificial intelligence something like the new electricity. So, to the question, where should I use artificial intelligence? It says that it's kind of a general purpose technology like electricity. Where can I use electricity? Basically, everywhere. Everywhere is electricity, is my clock, my clicker, everything. So it's difficult to think of a sector, an industry, a use case where you cannot apply artificial intelligence nowadays. So having said that, what we did was embedding artificial intelligence, automation, and algorithm into the platform. For doing what? Mainly two sets of features. The first one, I hope you can read, is named Claire Copilot, and the other one is Claire GPT. So not a lot of innovation in the naming convention, but basically, Claire Copilot is already available and in the platform, and is about everything that goes around automation. So when you need to design a new data integration job, Claire will suggest to you the next motion. If you have a data quality analysis to carry on, Claire can outline the exception or the data quality rule that you may want to apply. If you are analyzing two tables, for example, that have distinct and different names, but the same data, with Claire Copilot, you may be worried about the fact that you may want to check the data because it's the same data, although they have different names. So, again, Claire Copilot is already in there. The next bit is something that I will not describe, but I will show it to you in this short video, that is Claire GPT. That is basically what we would expect from a GPT application. The capability of interacting in a natural language model with your data. So let's think about everything that I just showed to you, but with the plus that a business user or even a developer can chat with the system and interact with it. But I think it's better if I'll show it to you. It's a 3-minute video.
Welcome to a new era of productivity and innovation with Claire GPT. Let's explore the groundbreaking features so you can get started today. ClearGPT is Informatica's new natural language interface that uses generative AI to help you manage your data. You can use ClearGPT to search for and discover assets in cloud data governance and catalog. In this video, we'll navigate to ClearGPT, explore the natural language interface, and search the catalog for assets and explore asset metadata. Let's log in. With ClearGPT, you can have a natural language conversation about the data assets in your organization. You can use the sample prompts to get started, or you can type your own question to find an asset and ask ClearGPT about the asset. After you start a conversation, ClearGPT keeps track of your conversation history. Let's start a new conversation. As a data analyst, we might need to analyze sales data from Snowflake and our KPI dashboards. First, we can check if our Snowflake metadata is available in the catalog. ClearGPT provides a 4-part answer that includes a summary, response, explanation, and suggestions. And then we can search for sales data. We can look at one of these tables using ClearGPT's intelligent prompt completion. Start typing your prompt. Use the @ symbol to see a list of suggestions to help you quickly find the correct table. We can explore the table overview and get the data quality score. Then we can look at the columns in the table. And get the data profile for the columns. We can also look at data lineage. Let's find our sales KPI dashboard. And show the data lineage. We can see that ClearGPT remembers the context from the conversation and understands that the lineage is for our sales KPIs. For more details, we can view the lineage diagram in Cloud Data Governance and Catalog. We can rate the responses we get from ClearGPT and add a comment. And that's it.
I'm watching this video, and the presentation is over now, and I was thinking that just, 3 months ago, this video also to me, it seemed magic. But then I think that I'm starting now to use actually some tools from different AI, and actually this is not so far away. In fact, this functionality will be released in the next few months, and it's just another way for you to interact with your own data. I do not know where it will lead, but I think it will shorten the path from the business user to the IT. This is now in private preview. If you want to know more or take a look at it or see how it works, we can organize and set up something so you could have a look at it, or you can also contact Jay for a presentation about data access management. Or do you have any question? Because that was my broad introduction to the platform, and I hope we can further discuss about it. Let me start with one thing. What I would suggest in the upcoming weeks, if you are interested about developing your new use case, it's to sit down with me and the colleague from the IS and figure out what is the sizing of your use case. Because doing that exercise is actually helpful to see, okay, how can I mix and match all the services that I need for my data governance program or for my data integration program. So that would be my advice for having a meeting and sit down and review what we have in the platform and how we can support your use case.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Normally, when somebody wants to ask the question, just waiting for one person who will ask first question, you know, and then you will have tens of questions or dozens of questions. So we need to find somebody who can ask the question, because I'm sure that there are a lot of questions now in the mind, you know, that they want to clarify the things that connected to the security or to ChatGPT or to how it's working the Claire, because about Claire we talked for the last 1 year, but anyway, it's working only in the cloud. So please, one more chance to ask first question. Who is ready? Oh,
hello, Nicholas. Thank you very much for your interesting presentation. You are welcome to the Bajwa, Azerbaijan.
Thank you.
I'm sure it's not the last time. So, okay, my question, I'm working in the bank and head of data governance. And of course, we are already using the Informatica tools, and we know about the features which are support our data governance program. And actually, we are very interesting to improve our data governance tool to support business needs, which is coming every day from our colleagues. And my question, of course, related to the cloud. Yes, because I'm pretty sure that the banks in the world have the same regulatory requirements in terms of data, and using cloud solution is actually forbidden, because bank has a very strong regulation in terms of customer data and in terms of banks and commercial data as well. So, and in this case, my question might be will be in terms of your experience. So, have the banks, in your experience, have the banks can utilize, let's say, Informatica cloud solutions for the security data? How it's work? Because yes, you show some magic box called as the security agent. I'm sure that it's the magic. However, if you are able to provide some maybe experience on the use case, which bank is used and how it's worked, I would appreciate. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your question. And I guess we are addressing head-on the main topic. Okay, it's fine. So let's state it's difficult. Managing data in the cloud is a topic that is not only related to Azerbaijan. It's happening to me in Italy, across Europe, and across the world. So it's a discussion about security, how we manage the data, and it poses some questions. I won't be shying out of it. Our point of view is that we are trying to let you articulate and move your data and being in control of it. So let's restart a little bit from the beginning. Our business is not based, let's make it even easier. I'm not paid on the amount of data that you move on my cloud. Okay? That's not our business. That's other people's business. We are not a storage platform. So even from a economical driver, we are not pushed on getting your data out of your system and bringing it into our cloud. Our goal is to manage the logistic of your data. Okay, that's important to understand. So you are the one choosing your own platform, whether it's on-prem or you want to put your data in cloud in an Azure platform. But having said that, we do treat your data and move it. So there are two different things. One is about data and the other one is about metadata. The boundary sometimes is blurry, but for the moment being, let's say that generally speaking, we only move the metadata into the cloud. What is metadata? Depending on the service, but let's speak about data integration for the moment being, and then we'll move to data governance. Data integration means that we are moving the data from system A to system B, no matter if it's on-prem to on-prem or on-prem to cloud or cloud to cloud, okay? The only information that we need in order to do that into our cloud is what's the name of the table that is the source, what is the target, and how you want to process and move the data. But then the secure agent, that is, it's actually kind of dumb because there's no intelligence in there. It's just an engine, a well engineered service based on microservices that moves the data and sits within your firewall. Then we have security applied around it. But if your use case is only around that integration, then I would say that there's no need at all for moving your data outside of your firewall. Would that be good enough for you? That I cannot say, because it depends on the specific regulation. But even banks are adopting our cloud solution for that integration. But if you ask me what is the main use case that in financial sector, but even in the government sector, now we are asked for, is not so much or so many use cases around that integration, because it's like a commodity. So if they ask me for a use case about that integration, they come directly asking for, can you move my data from here to there, and you can follow that patterns? Yes or no? It's quite technical directly, the question. The use case that I receive most commonly is around data governance. And over there is purely metadata. So data governance means that I need to obey to a specific regulation. Let's say GDPR, privacy. So what Jay showed you also. Over there, again, the secure agent, it's the agent who scans your applications, collects the metadata, and then moves it into the cloud. On that, we can further look into that, but at least from our perspective, we do comply with all the regulations, and you should be safe. No, you are safe. The should comes from the fact that we need to comply with this local regulation. So we can look at it, but I have plenty of insurance and banking that are managing their data governance and data quality with us. One case where your data, so I'll be open on that, will end up on our cloud, actually two cases that come up to my mind. If you enable the data preview, then you will materialize that data into our cloud. But in response to that, we enable that check into the platform, so you can choose if you want to do the materialized view or not. You are in control of that. And the other one is the data profiling. So if you scan a table with data quality, the results of that data profiling, that it's still metadata, but those are published on the cloud. So over there, you need a little bit, be a little bit careful on how you present the result, because metadata could be how many credit cards do you have? 6, 7, 8? Or give me the last 4 digits of your credit card. Still metadata, but that's a metadata that you don't want to have it on your cloud. So the answer is not straightforward. Yes, don't worry, come with us, we'll all be fine. It will be a long discussion, but we are taking all the precaution, and the architecture is designed in such a way that we should be able to find a way as other clients are doing. I don't think I convinced you. I'm not expecting to do it right now, but I think we can have this conversation. Okay?
Second question. There is no question. Okay, this is a question for data lakehouse.
So may I ask you a question just to understand how can we move forward? Do you have data quality projects ongoing? Can raise your hand if you have a data quality. Okay, just 1 and 2. So I guess the other part of the room, are you trying to build a new data warehouse in clouds? What are you doing with your data, basically? Let's see. Do you have any suggestion for how to moving the data into the cloud in a fair, secure way?
Nobody is thinking about moving.
I leave the stage to you then.
Yeah.